Hi, this is Alyssa. I am doing amazing, Natalie. How are you? Yes, absolutely. Sure, sounds great. Sure. So I have actually wanted to participate in the Disney College program since I was in high school. This is something I learned about when I was in high school, and I wanted to apply ever since. I really love this program, and I think this program is unique because it allows you to work in the parks and gain unparalleled interpersonal interaction with guests. There's no other internship that allows you to do that, and getting that hands-on experience and being able to communicate with people is something that you can't get anywhere else. And also something that's unique is learning business techniques within a classroom setting as well, not only in the real world, quote unquote, of the parks, but it's also learning within the classroom from Disney, a Fortune 500 company. So that learning as well is completely unique to the Disney College program. Yes, that is. That is correct. No, I am not. I'm completely familiar with the guidelines and I comply 100% with them. I only wear one earring in my earlobe, which complies with Disney look, and there is nothing else that would conflict. No, I do not have any tattoos at this time or plan on getting any. No, I do not. Yes, I actually have two piercings in the lower lobe of my ear, but I only ever wear one earring. I never use the second hole, but it just won't close up for some reason. Yes, I do. I would really only like to be considered for spring if possible. So the only living independent experience I have had was only for a very brief time for college orientation, and it was only with one other person in a dorm on campus. It was about a week, but we were completely, it was away at college, and we were living together independently. Well, I think, of course, as much as I have my own perspective where I feel like I might be doing all of the work around the apartment, I think that my roommates, they also have a point of view. So I think I would obviously communicate with them as much as possible that I am feeling like I'm just, I'm taking a lot of the responsibilities. Um, is there any way that you guys would be able to maybe just do start doing one thing and then so they might have a time problem or where their schedules don't really allow them to be really um, their schedules don't allow them to help out that much in the apartment where mine does. And I think communication is really the key to that, just saying um, is there anything you guys can help out with because I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed? And I think if you approach it that way, just trying to be as understanding and as possible and to try to get a compromise, um, I think that's obviously key. As well as, setting expectations before the program would even start. I think that that could, of course, like you said, conflicts are kind of unavoidable, but I think setting expectations beforehand as to what everybody is responsible for throughout the whole duration of the program, I think that'll kind of cut back on maybe some conflict as well. So, actually, the most challenging was being a receptionist at my parish's office, only because that was very challenging for me because that particular job, I was really sitting at a desk for hours at a time. There was not a lot of interaction with people, only when people would come into the office, which was not frequently. And it was really answering phone calls and doing a lot of paperwork. And of course, jobs like that are, of course, necessary. Um, but for me, that was challenging because I'm someone who likes to be active, who likes to be interacting with people and everything like that. So I would really prefer a job, and that's why I've liked so many of my other jobs where I am active, where the time is passing quickly because I'm, um, you know, active and doing things, as opposed to kind of just sitting and not really doing much. Um, so for that particular job, um, honestly, I can't really say that that job was too terribly exciting. There have been plenty of other jobs that I have had where I have been truly excited to go to work. When I was the librarian this past year and I was working with the kids and from pre-K 3 all the way up to 8th grade, or when I was teaching theater at a theater company, or no matter what it was, working with the kids for the spring musical. That's really where I would get excited because I was able to be creative. I was able to work with the kids, and that was a lot of fun. I love working with kids because it brings out a different side in me and everybody. Well, I can't say it brings out a different side in me, but I love working with them because they're just so happy. They're so unbothered, and they can really talking to a kid or spending time with them, reading them books at story time, and some of the things they would talk about to me, it just made my day. And I could be in the worst mood when I went in that morning from whatever happened the day before or whatever problems that were going on. And I would go in and they would talk to me about, playtime that day, or how they were excited because they had a Rice Krispie treat at lunch or whatever it might be. Just spending time with them made me really just forget all of my problems. Um, and it really, I don't even know how to explain it. It really just perks me up like nothing else does. Sure. So I am a big multitasker. And as well, I am really good at prioritizing, prioritizing things that need to get done in order of importance. So I am able to go through everything I need to get done in my mind, or I tend to write a lot of lists of things that need to get done. And I am very good at being able to organize and prioritize um, and bring myself to get everything done just by knowing how important they are, their deadline, and things like that. So it's really about just being as organized as possible and prioritizing what's most important. Sure. So if it's okay, I actually have another job experience. I was also an aftercare aide at another local school for 2 years. Unfortunately, until the school shut down, or else I would probably still be there. But I was actually working as an aftercare aide after school, right immediately after school until about 6 p.m., until all the kids got picked up. I worked with one other person, and we were responsible for looking after probably up to 20 to 30 kids immediately after school, and then that kind of dwindled down as everybody started to get picked up. But one day it was just a normal day. The kids came in, they always had snack right when they got out of school, and then they started to work on their homework. When they were done with that, they went to playtime. So we were all eating snack. The kids were about to start their homework, and the principal ran back from the front of the building. We were in the back of the building in the cafeteria, and the principal ran back to the cafeteria. She ran in and she said, "The fire alarms are going off in the front of the building. They're not going off back here. We don't know what's going on, but we need to evacuate." So the principal went to go to the back to the front of the school to meet the fire department, and my coworker and we immediately jumped into action. I got all the kids up out of their chairs and lined them up at the door as quickly as possible. She grabbed all of the necessary paperwork that we would need to take attendance outside. I did a quick head count of all of the kids before we left to make sure that we have everybody, and so that when we were outside, we could take another head count. So as quickly and as quietly as possible, we got them outside. We put them obviously a safe distance from the school in the parking lot, and we waited until the principal came back, and she said that it was just a false alarm and that everything was okay. But our priority, of course, was getting all the students quickly and quietly out of the building to safety. Right. Yes, I have been planning on going to the September audition in New York City. I actually attended the same audition last year. Unfortunately, I was cut in the first round and didn't make it. But I was happy just to go and try. So, if possible, I am planning on going to the New York audition in September. Yes, so in one of my past job experiences as the theater instructor, where our location, we were in a school, a public school in town that actually did not have any air conditioning, and this was in the middle of July. So the temperature was upwards of 90 degrees outside, and it was extremely hot inside. So we were, singing and dancing and acting, and I was doing all that with the kids, and it was extremely, extremely hot. But we were able to get through it. It was, yes, that would be acceptable. It's okay. That was my long-winded way of saying yes. That's fine. Yes. Yes, as a bingo concessions cashier, I was also responsible for preparing some of the food. It was just basic bingo food, hot dogs, and things like that. But I do have experience in preparing some light food. Sure. One moment. Let me just think about that. So at the school I was in this past year, and as well as the school I was in for 2 years before that, I was actually the choreographer and director of their spring musical. So I worked with students from fourth grade, or some even below, up to eighth grade. I worked with them for a few months at a time, singing, dancing, acting, and teaching them, eventually, obviously, leading up to their spring musical, whatever it was. So I was working with up to probably 30 students at a time, single handedly. And there was a lot of times where, they were very, very, very tired, and um, getting them to come back from break was was particularly difficult. Some of them did not want to did not want to get back up, did not want to sing the song that they had to, or do whatever it was they had to do right then. But I would, of course, try to work with them and motivate them and tell them, you have to practice and things like that. Um, so that's really the only instance that I can think of. Yes. Okay. Yes, definitely. Yes, I actually have two. One, I'm actually very interested in the volunteers program. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how to get involved? Wow, that sounds amazing, especially working with, Make a Wish children. That is amazing. Like I said, unparalleled experience. That's amazing. I actually had one more question, if that's okay. I know it's not guaranteed, and however, I would be receptive to any role. Is there any way that I can request or make note of my top role at this time? Sure. So I guess if I wanted to pick one specific location, I would really love to be placed at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique in Magic Kingdom. Just based on my past, work experience working with children, especially who are special needs, who have ADHD, who do not speak any English, things like that, as well as doing makeup on hair, on friends, on family members, and I'm kidding you. complimented on how good they look. Don't mean to brag, but I really feel like I would be able to make a lot of magic in that role for a lot of children. So I just wanted to make a note or whatever was possible. Yes, when I have done when I have worked as a director and choreographer at the school, or when I was a theater instructor or a dance assistant, whenever we had performances, especially for the musicals, there were a lot of students who needed specialty makeup, who needed to look like a dog, who needed to be painted green like the Wicked Witch. I was always the one to do that for them. I was always the one to take their makeup and draw on whatever they needed to look like a dog or whatever it might be. I was always the one to do that for them. Natalie, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough for being so kind to me today. I was very nervous. So thank you so much for your time. You too. Bye now.